so even today when I even make tea, my wife warns me never make tea again. But I'm surprised when I used to make tea during my bachelor days. All my friends used to like it, but my wife doesn't like it.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to the new episode of Winners Talk. As you know now that the group has been created to connect, collaborate, and the cultivate the professionals and business skills. And as I promised that I will bring you the experts from all over the world to help you with those professionals and business skills. So today I'm very happy that today we have Mr. Anil Raj with us. Hello Anil.
Hi Nilesh.
Yes. So Mr. Anil is joining us from Japan. And I'll give a little bit of intro about him. But the topic today is, the transition between job to business. Because many of you who want to start your own business, at the same time, some of you are stuck in the job and you don't know how to switch from job to business. So I'm very, eager to learn about Anil and his story and how he made that transition happen from job to business. So I'm very excited. So Anil, once again, thank you so much for joining. And
thank you, Nilesh.
For my viewers, I will give a little bit introduction about you. So, and it's so much of good information that I cannot remember all those things. So I will be reading all those things. So Mr. Anil Raj is a serial international entrepreneur with just over a decade into entrepreneurship. Today his business range from Indian chain of restaurants, international kindergarten school, travel and leisure, imports and export, and much more. Now, he's an ex-techie with 17 years of experience working in, international investment banks such like, Credit Suisse, Dresdner, Japanese Shinsei Bank, oh my God, and Citi Bank. He holds an MS in information technology from Australia. And many of you will also get to know about his entrepreneurial journey and how he started. So guys, without further ado, let's get started. So Anil, thank you so much for joining. So to begin with, Anil, why don't you tell about yourself, how your journey happened between job to business?
Okay, thank you, Nilesh, to invite me onto this Winners Talk, and I really appreciate your.
Yes.
I really appreciate your what you call creating this group called WIN, and that's a pretty good acronym also. It's a very attractive acronym. So and I've been following you ever since I knew you. So I think you're doing a wonderful job, not only in terms of a professional job, but in terms of what do you call for the community, just like this
we want to help.
WIN platform. Yeah.
Yes.
So I also have the same opinion that once you reach a stage, once you have gained experience, this is one way of giving back to the society.
Exactly.
So and probably I think you are also doing the same thing. So
exactly.
It is definitely it gives a lot of pleasure when somebody comes back and says. In fact, the only day for us today, somebody actually messaged me and said, Anil-san, in Japan they call everybody a san. So yeah. Anil-san, the information that you gave me and the direction that you gave me actually fetched results, and which I was not doing for past 2 years, right? So, and within a few months, I got some results in his task. Yeah, right. So this is something that we can give back to the society, because as you. That is also an experience in its own.
It
right?
is.
So I think, coming back to your question, how my transition happened from job to entrepreneurship, right? My transition, actually from an idea perspective, from an idea point of view, my idea of entrepreneurship started, idea of becoming an entrepreneur started in my 12th grade. Right. In my 12th grade, that is when I actually used to tell all my friends that someday I want to start a company called Raj Group, and that's my company's name today. So my company's name was formed then. So in my head, something was already there in 12th grade, and all my friends who were very close to me, they knew. And sometimes after that, before I started my company, people used to tease me also. Right? Did you? Whenever I call them, they said, "Okay, did you start your Raj group?" Kind of thing, right? So they used to tease me, but at last, I took the plunge in 2005, right? So the reason is because I don't come from a business family, right? None of my ancestors none of my ancestors in my lineage actually is from business. So not coming from a business family and coming from a private sector employee or this one. So that actually is definitely a baggage on you, because at home nobody discusses business,
Exactly.
right? So business will never come to you naturally, all right? So that is definitely a baggage that you have to shed sometime or the other.
That is actually
So
the real program of the first generation entrepreneurs, that there's no one to guide you in your immediate family, because nobody has done that before. So you have to actually carve through the way, figure out by making lots of mistakes and being failed.
correct. And there's lots of mistakes made. There's lots of failures before you succeed. So I was working for then this is always on the back of my mind, and I was working for a company called Credit Suisse, which is an investment bank, right? And that is when I said, okay, I have to start now or never. It'll never happen. So then I went in financial industry in Japan. It's a strict regulation that you cannot do outside activity. Rather, even
Okay,
if you
okay,
do, you need a special permission for that, right?
okay,
It will become illegal if I do something on the side. Of course, it's
okay,
illegal anywhere in the world, but in Japan it's much more strict, right?
right.
So I went to my compliance department, said I want to start an IT company, because IT is what I have been doing for ever since I started job. So I want to start an IT company. Can I do this? So the compliance said, no, no way you can do an IT company, because that will be a conflict of interest.
Correct.
Right. So then I was very desperate to start something. So I went back to my drawing board, actually saying that, okay, what can I start? So that is when in Japan in 2003 2004 there were no South Indian restaurants
Okay.
in Japan.
The gap in the market.
So
Okay.
yes, that's a vacuum in the market,
Right.
right? South Indian restaurants were not there in 2003 2004, but uh, all the engineers come from South India. Not all the
Okay.
engineers, but I think most of the engineers come from South India. You can see a lot of IT engineers are from Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, and Pune,
Okay.
right? Because in Japan, Japanese language is very important, and Pune is the hub of Japanese language.
Okay. I
Yeah,
never. Yeah, it's good to know.
you are from Pune, and
I do.
I
Yes.
think yeah.
That's
But
something new I learn about.
I think most of the language experts uh, in Japan come from Pune.
Okay.
But these days, I think there are Japanese schools in Bangalore and other places. But Pune was the hub at that time. So yeah, I think Mumbai also a lot of South Indian food works. I mean, South Indian food is very popular there.
Right.
So that's when I said, okay. Then I went back to the went back to compliance and said, okay, you don't want me to start an IT company, but can I start a restaurant? So because that is no way I can see a conflict of interest. And they said,
Correct.
okay, you can start a restaurant, but as long as you're not working there, it is fine.
Ah, very good.
Okay, you can own a restaurant, but there's no problem with that. But as long as you're not working there, it is fine. Okay, but anyways, I was not planning to work there because I have a full-time job, right? So, but of course, during my work hours, I will not be working there, right?
Correct.
So so then they gave me a compliance go ahead, and then
Uh-huh.
that is when my first jump into entrepreneurship
Right.
was,
Right.
right. That
You know
is where
that
I took the plunge.
this clearly shows your persistence, and you actually got a very big obstacle that you cannot start a business. You wanted to start a business. So I guess this is the true nature of entrepreneurship, that we whenever we get hit by the obstacles, we try to figure out the options to go ahead. When one door closes, we always look for other doors. And if all the doors are,
Yes,
look for the windows. So you really figure
yes.
out that maybe IT is not the way. Maybe in some other industry you can figure out. And you did a proper, going through the compliance. Yeah, very good thing. I like that.
Okay, so
Big lesson.
that is that is how I think I faced that obstacle, and then we could this one. But the whole idea of when I thought of restaurant was, okay, I will start a restaurant. Then once I get the cash flow, I will quit the restaurant, quit my
Job.
job, and then taking this cash flow, I will start IT.
Okay.
Right. So that was because I was not from the restaurant industry, so I did not know ABCD of restaurant industry. Right? I don't even cook at home, so that makes it much more challenging, right?
Wow.
So so even today when I even make tea, my wife warns me never make tea again. But I'm surprised when I used to make tea during my bachelor days. All my friends used to like it, but my wife doesn't like it. Right? So,
Yes,
so
but now
that's
you
how
know
that's
restaurant, so you can cook like variety of dishes along with the tea, and you have some
no,
your
I
team.
still don't cook. I still don't cook.
You have team, I guess, right?
Uh,
Yes, yeah.
yeah, we have a team, so they cook for me. So no problem.
Right.
So
So yeah, this is a
that's how my
very good
entrepreneurship,
lesson. Mm.
yeah, that's how my entrepreneurship journey started. And I because because like I said, I'm a first generation entrepreneur, and safety net was always an issue for me because
Right.
you don't have so much financial backing. Of course, my parents and everybody, they're there to support, but still I want to be independent, and then I want to keep my safety net option open, so I did not leave my job.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So, the two things I wanted to ask, because
Yeah.
while you are in the job and at the same time starting a business, so there must be a challenging on the time wise as well, right?
Yes.
Because you have to manage the time. So, what was the role of your family in this entrepreneurship journey?
See, role of family is very important. Of course, during starting days, I did not have a kid or anything like that. So the role of family is right now. Uh, uh, it's very important because the time that an entrepreneur can give to the family is very less, and the
Mhm.
stress that it is not just you who are taking who's taking the stress. It is the family who's taking the stress, right?
Correct.
So because as an entrepreneur, you come back home. The what do you call the job timing and the work timing and the home work life balance, you can say, is
Mm.
actually more tilted towards work,
Correct.
because even at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you're still working, right? Or
Exactly.
10 o'clock,
Yeah.
10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, you are being called, right? So the
Exactly.
work life balance is usually tilted towards work
Correct.
than right. So this impact impacts the family also. So without their support, I think it is very difficult to actually not only survive but also to grow, right? So without their support, it's not this one. And coming back to the that is immediate family who is living with you, and but immediate family who is not living with you also, there's a lot of support that is required. Like even now, my parents also support from India. My father takes care of all my Indian activities. My brother takes care of
Uh,
lot of issues for me. Like my brother takes care of the company that we also run, called branding company called Vericom Group.
right.
He runs that company, and he also suggests me about the branding stuff. Like you just mentioned a few minutes back about my profile document, he prepared the
Exactly.
whole thing. Yeah, he prepared the whole document. So and my mother also gives me a lot of supporting, I mean, lot of emotional support, because I'm coming back from a genetic thing. My father is more what do you call risk averse, and my mother is
Uh,
more risk taker. So
you got best of both then.
yes, probably I got a balance of both, right? So my father is very cautious about taking risk. Not that he doesn't take risk, but he's very cautious about taking risk, and he calculates everything. My mother is like a risk taker. So if I get that both their genetic stuff to
Right.
actually become an entrepreneur. I think that family support is very important.
No, it's indeed. Because,
Yeah.
when you are facing lots of challenges outside the, let's say family and house, uh,
Mm.
having support of family really helps because,
Yes.
when you go outside the world, it is tough,
Correct.
but it is tough. But while we are facing that toughness, going through the failures, at the same time we also want some setup, strong foundation. So having the good family support really helps. And I think
Correct.
it's very
I
good.
mean, some support does not mean that they have to do something for you. It's just
But
whenever
just being
I'm
there, or maybe not pulling.
just being there. Yes. And sometimes it's as simple as just a phone call and saying hi.
Exactly.
Right. Sometimes when I'm very much down, and when I'm demotivated, I just call my father, I just call my mother, I just call my brother, and just talk about something else, not
Something
about
else.
the problem, not about the problem, right? And then after I keep the phone, then I feel much better.
Much
Or
better, much
of
calm.
course, because my wife and kid is always with me, so I can talk to them directly. But my parents are not there with me, so they are in India. So I just pick up the call and listen. But wife and kid, I can sit and talk with them over dinner or over breakfast and things like
Right. No, very rightly said. So
that.
along with the family, while you were starting the business, what sort of you thought, like you had the mental blocks, and over the period you realized that now that you overcome those blocks, or you knock them blocks out. So is there anything that you think, oh no, like there was something in your mental blocks were there, and then you figure out that there was some solution to that?
Okay, one major learning that I actually probably over the period, and I think probably it will help most of the new entrepreneurs, like young entrepreneurs, is uh, I was I used to hate borrowing,
Okay.
right? And I used to hate borrowing, and today I love borrowing,
There's
right?
good depth.
And
There is
I
a depth.
see that
There's a good depth and bad depth, and
yes,
so
but
far it was told it's only the depth is bad, but I understand your point of view. It's a very good lesson.
yes, yes. So while starting, it was a big pressure on me. Oh, I'm borrowing so much, because that is the baggage that you are bringing from a non-business family,
Exactly.
right? If none of your ancestors were into
Exactly.
business, borrowing is a big burden on you. Hey, you shouldn't borrow. You should be self-sufficient, kind of thing, right?
Yes.
But borrowing for a good business idea, borrowing is not bad. But as long as borrowing, you're not splurging on the borrowing, right?
Exactly.
As long as you're not lavish on it, right? So
Yeah, you make
borrowing is good.
the best use of that money, because sometimes when you have set up something, do something nice for the society or in the business as well, you need to borrow, because if you don't borrow, then your journey is either you don't have enough funds to run faster, and sometimes
Hmm.
you run faster to let's say, stay ahead of the game, or make something happen. So
Correct.
very good that borrowing
Hmm.
is not always bad.
Yeah. So if you don't borrow, maybe you might start your journey 10 years later, because you are actually
And so that
accumulating
time,
funds.
and that 10 years, the market has been moved on, customer has been moved on. So they might,
Yes.
the idea might be brilliant, but the timing might get wrong at that time.
Yes, but having said that, I would definitely warn youngsters, young entrepreneurs, that please see what you're borrowing for,
Exactly.
right? So
Not
that is a
for
great.
expense. It's to as an investor
Yes,
bring it more back. Right.
yes.
No, that's very good, and very good lessons. So, any final comment? Any like wisdom or success mantra that you have that you want to pass on to our the worldwide Indian network?
I think a few things, that your network is your net worth,
Correct.
right? I don't know who told that, but I read it somewhere. Uh, so that is very important. So I've got a very good set of friends, right, who support me in my businesses. I've got very good friend of relatives who support me in my businesses. Support doesn't mean that somebody is coming and handing over you a business deal, right?
Right.
It can be uh, to be frank, my way of opening up restaurants is like calling all my friends and all my well-wishers into a opening party,
Yeah,
right?
a
So
very good story. Can you elaborate that story? Because I heard about that. It's interesting. So why not now share with this network? So can you tell
okay, yeah,
who
yeah.
did the
So
opening?
I will tell you about the first opening that we had, right? So first time when I was opening the restaurant, I never discussed about business with anybody else. Of course, I was
Correct.
discussing with different kinds of businesses with everybody else, all of my friends, but I never discussed that I'm going to open a restaurant with anybody other than a very few close friends who were helping me in getting me a guarantor and all the stuff. But other
Correct.
than that, the market did not know that I'm going to start a restaurant. So one fine day, I called up everybody and said, "Guys, I have a surprise for you. I have a surprise party for you. So I want you to come to this particular place and this particular restaurant and at so and so time." So everybody came there. Nobody had a clue, except I think one or two had a clue that because one or two might have had a clue, but they were never for sure,
They never
right?
questioned, yeah.
They were not sure about what it is, and so they came and they came to the restaurant. They sat in the restaurant, and interesting incidents, like I was not behaving like a customer there because I was behaving like a host. Because in a restaurant, when you actually take the jug and serve them water and all this stuff, they were surprised. Why is this
Exactly.
guy doing all these things, right? They also told me, let the waiters do, right? Why are you doing this kind of thing? Because they did not know that it was our
Exactly.
restaurant, right? So let the waiters do. When I was pulling the curtain down and all this stuff, they said, "Oh, why are you doing?" Kind of thing, right? So then after everybody came, then I declared that, okay, so this is our first venture, and they were
Well done. This is
they
very good story.
correct. So that is how the first one was a surprise, but when I opened the second one, a lot of people already guessed, saying that you're opening another restaurant. And nowadays, some people, I don't talk to them for 6 months or 8 months. Whenever, even if I call them normally, they say, "Are you opening another one?" Right? So
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's very interesting. A very innovative way as well, I can say.
yeah. So that's because that is one way of actually acknowledging my to my friends that you guys are my support system, and acknowledging their inputs, right? Because without their inputs, it's impossible that you go and because I'm not doing just a restaurant. If I was just doing the restaurant, then I can go and stand there and take feedback. But in a system where I'm operating, I operate through my staff, right? I keep them there, and of course, my staff also is doing a good job. But you definitely need the customer's viewpoint, and not
Exactly.
In
Exactly.
Japan, customers usually don't give feedback,
Okay.
right? They are all goody kind of
Okay.
customers.
Okay.
Most of them, I would say. I'm talking to relative terms with UK, US, and other
Right.
places.
Right. Right. Yeah. While here,
In
they're very much open. They immediately, you'll get immediate sort of feedback.
Yes, Japanese don't do that.
Okay. They
Japanese,
don't
they
want to
yes,
hurt somebody, is it? Like,
yes, they don't want to do that. They are not that what they call they are not that immediate in giving feedback. So Japanese are very mild, very polite. So whenever even if you ask them, even if they didn't feel good about anything, they will say, it's okay, kind of thing, right? So
but
it's okay.
sometimes you need that, creative feedback, let's say, or
Yes,
constructive feedback, we can say,
yes, that you will only
improve
get
ourselves
from
actually
your
for that reason.
yes, that you will only get from your good friends and well-wishers, right? So even when I am not in my restaurant, I get the feedback, Anil, today the biryani was good, right?
Ah,
So then I call up and ask, okay, who is on leave today, who's did this biryani and all this stuff. So then I know, okay, so okay, who is doing what, right?
right, right,
So
right, right.
Anil, you just need to give this guy a raise. So this guy actually dealt with my boss very well, right? I took my boss there, and this guy did a good job.
Good
So
job, yeah.
yeah, you should appreciate him, kind of thing. So
Right,
then I
right.
call up and say, okay, yeah. So this kind of feedback, of course, constructive feedback. There very rarely I get some negative feedback, but a lot of people give me constructive feedback because it is important for me to recognize good
Exactly,
things also, right?
exactly,
So yeah. So
exactly,
that can only happen through your friend circle.
exactly. No, very right said. So, Anil, it's been really pleasure to speaking with you, know about your entrepreneurial journey, your tea example, or, the way you open up your first restaurant and your journey you actually happened from, how you convince your company when you want to start your business. So, first of all, this is for all of you who is watching on the WIN, Worldwide Indians Network, that, somebody, you have passion, you have a dream. And as Raj, his dream actually started when he was in the 12th grade. So he had that vision, and he actually was thinking about the name Raj Group, and now he actually owns that group with the entrepreneurship companies in different sectors in Japan. So Anil, thank you so much for joining once again.
Thank you,
I
Nilesh.
actually learned a lot. Obviously, all my viewers, they also have learned a lot about the entrepreneurship, taking a risk, about the borrowing and all those things you mentioned. So guys, as I said, no, this group has been created to connect, collaborate, and cultivate professionals and business skills. Just like Anil, Anil is one of the experts. So we have these experts on this particular group to share their wisdom. And the only purpose of this group now, as you know, the Indians are smart. So to share that experience with others so that, everybody else can get the benefit of this wisdom. So if you have any friends and family, please invite them to join this Worldwide Indians Network. Please comment if you have any questions. And I will put Anil's contact details somewhere around the video. So if you have any question, want to reach Anil, please feel free to connect with him. And Anil, I personally can't wait to visit Japan and visit one of your restaurants.
Definitely, come down, come down. We will have a
Okay.
good meal here.
Yes, yes.
South Indian dosa.
Yes. So thank you so
Okay.
much, Anil. Thank you so much for connecting.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.